The conflict between Iran and Israel is making headlines again.
The skies of West Asia have lit up again with drones, missiles, fighter jets and rockets. Once again, it's the two sworn rivals facing off, Israel and Iran.
Iran and Israel have been launching new strikes on each other.
The Israeli Defense Forces has announced that the Israel Air Force is continuing to strike targets in Iran to remove threat.
Things in the Middle East are heating up, and at the center of it all are two of the region's most powerful players, Iran and Israel. The two nations absolutely hate each other. The conflict between them has been going on for over 4 decades now. But what if I told you, before all of this, the two countries were very good friends? So what went wrong and what is going wrong? In this video, let us figure out the past, the present and the future implications of this conflict. To understand the Iran-Israel conflict, we will have to go back in time to the 1970s. Iran back then was nothing like what it is today. Iran used to be like any other modern, secular and developed country. In 1970s, it had double-digit economic growth, which even India, being the fastest growing large economy, does not have. It was even amongst the most popular tourist destinations in the world. At this point in time, it was ruled by the Shah of Iran, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. He was a very modern, secular and progressive man, to say the least. If I was to draw a parallel, Iran was kind of what UAE or Dubai is like today. Under the Shah, Israel and Iran had very close relations. Israel provided military support, agricultural expertise and intelligence cooperation. Iran in return supplied oil and served as a regional ally in an otherwise hostile Arab neighborhood. But everything changed in 1979, the year the Iranian Revolution took place. Islamic powers overthrew the Shah and brought Ayatollah Khomeini to power. Many call this the fall of Iran. Iran overnight transformed from a pro-Western secular monarchy into the world's only Islamic theocracy. Theocracy is basically a government ruled by a priest. They vowed to oppose the United States and destroy the state of Israel. The new boss, Khomeini, called Israel a cancerous tumor, and it refused to recognize its legitimacy. This marked the beginning of what would become one of the world's most bitter rivalries in modern geopolitics. At the core of this conflict is ideology. Iran sees itself as the leader of the modern Islamic world and positions itself against what it calls Western imperialism and Zionism. It supports terrorist groups that resist Israel, such as Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza. Israel, on the other hand, sees Iran as an existential threat. Now, one of the biggest flashpoints in the Iran-Israel conflict is Iran's nuclear program. This is also the reason why the two have made headlines again. Iran insists that its nuclear ambitions are peaceful, meant for energy and medical use. But Israel, along with much of the West, believes that Iran is secretly building nuclear weapons. And that's a red line for Israel. In June 1981, Israel conducted Operation Opera, and it bombed Iraq's nuclear reactors to prevent Saddam Hussein from acquiring a nuclear bomb. In 2007, it did the same with Syria, and it repeatedly hinted that it will do whatever it takes to stop Iran, even if it means launching a military strike. That is why the 2015 Iran nuclear deal was such a big deal. Under this agreement, Iran agreed to limit its nuclear activities in exchange for the lifting of economic sanctions. Israel, however, strongly opposed this deal, calling it weak and dangerous. In 2018, the US under President Donald Trump withdrew from this deal, and Iran gradually ramped up its nuclear activities again. Even until a few months back, tensions over Iran's nuclear capabilities were at an all-time high. But so far, Iran and Israel have never fought a direct war. They have been fighting through proxies like Hezbollah, and they have launched a few drone attacks on each other, but not really a full-fledged war. That was until last Thursday, and that brings us to the conflict at hand. The situation has really escalated with Israel conducting Operation Rising Lion, attacking Iran's nuclear sites and military facilities. Israel says there is a good reason for the same. They issued a one-page document highlighting why they attacked, why now, and what exactly was their military operation. Here is what Prime Minister Netanyahu had to say about the same.
In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival.
Basically, according to them, Iran was very close to acquiring a nuclear weapon, and Israel sees this as an existential threat. They attacked these nuclear facilities in view of the right to defend themselves. In retaliation, Iran too has launched airstrikes on Israel, and explosions have been heard over Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, which are basically Israel's two biggest cities. According to Netanyahu, things are far from over. Now, this isn't just a local conflict, it has global implications. Firstly, there is a risk of a full-blown regional war. If Iran and Israel go to war, countries like Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and possibly even the Gulf states could be dragged in. The US, a close ally of Israel, could also be pulled in the fight. Secondly, oil prices. The Strait of Hormuz, through which 1/5 of the world's oil passes, sits right on Iran's doorstep. Any conflict there could disrupt global energy markets and trigger a worldwide economic crisis. Third, nuclear proliferation. If Iran builds a bomb, other countries in the region might soon follow, especially countries like Saudi Arabia that see Iran as a threat. That could be a nuclear arms race in one of the world's most volatile regions. And while the world watches nervously, the question remains, is this just another chapter in a long Cold War, or are we heading towards a catastrophic climax? Only time will tell. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful, and as always, thank you so much for watching.